Welcome, friends. Welcome, friends. Welcome, friends, to Experience for a Purpose. Let's talk today a little bit about gun violence. Gun violence in the hands of our youth and how it's rocking our nation, how it's changing lives in many families, how the streets are turning to World War II in somewhat appearance. How these youth are looking toward street level gangs for appreciation, for love, for validation. When we look at the news or we hear via social media of losing a loved one or someone we know to gun violence, it sinks in like a boat with a hole in it in the middle of the ocean. It starts going down. And it disturbs you to the point where you're wondering what can be done, what strategies, what methods that we as parents, adults, can come up with that'll provide these youth with the shelter, the comfort that they're seeking with these weapons in these streets. As I mentioned, you see it on the news, but when it touched pretty close to home and the results is within a day apart of each other, hours, you lose a child that you watch grow up from maybe 7 or 8 years old to a full-fledged man. Then you watch another child, same age range, grow up into a youth and becomes a high school student. And in both of their lives, one was lost, one was saved due to gun violence. When this gun violence started rocking us and these children, we gotta be able to grab hold of our children, accept responsibility as best as we can, because the nurturing and love starts at home. Even as single parents, if we can't do it, let's start searching in communities, nationwide, local grief counseling services. For our county, it's 211, to see where can we get the help or assistance that is needed to succeed with our children, not allow these children to become friends to the streets, not as parents become friends to the streets. It's difficult for me. I've had a restless night, a half restless morning, and I came on because I'm hurting. It hits so much different when it's close to home. It hits so much different. And I asked us as parents, because I do this daily, and I'm going to give you an example of why I do it. Not an example, I'm going to give you an actual fact that occurred. Factual situation that occurred with my child that leads me that I always do this prior to this happening. In my daily prayer, I ask the Heavenly Father, I say, cover my child while in my care and out of my care. Because are you aware that the child can be with you and something strange, the enemy can still attack right there while that child is with you? Just as well as the child is not with you. Could be simply at a park, at a family cookout, hanging out with friends at the skating ring, and it happens. And the reason I say is because the enemy, as they say, he crawls and seek who he can devour. I don't say he walk, because I know he walks. He crawls. I say he walking. And he seeks to see who he can devour and who can he take out. And when he can't get close to us as parents, his next best thing is to start out toward our children. Because our children is our heart, our love. That's something that God and us created. Many of the programs that are offered in the community, I would say, are not as strong do not have a strong hold as much as the streets and the validation and the feeling superior of a gun has. And these youth are not thinking at times when they are out here committing these crimes, and it's resulting in children's lives being gone. It's resulting in themselves being taken away from their family. They're not thinking in terms of who are they hurting? What effects is it causing? Not only on the parents, but on them. Because someday we want to see them become grown. We want to see them successful. And one thing that is known to hold an individual of minority back is a charge. And when it becomes a felony, it takes a lot of work to get that removed, or to be able to prove yourself not guilty beyond a reasonable doubt in front of a jury of your peers. Which leads to the children thinking, if I can't get a job, I gotta resort to some form of livelihood, which we already know would be the next step for them. We as parents at home gotta grasp our youth. Love them each day. Keep them in prayer. Seek the resources that's available. There's no shame in it. Let these resources be of a handout to you, to say, I need help with this young man. I need help with this young lady. Tell your child each day how beautiful he or she is, handsome he is. To be confident in the skin that God created them in. That it's okay to be different and make their decisions not align with their friends and peers. Because when they become teenagers, we're in constant battle against the demonic spirit, and we're in constant battle against their peers. The peers seem to know more than what we know. Let's be honest. And let them know that regardless of their situations and their decisions, as long as, even if it leads up to them doing the ultimate, we're with them. We're not for it, but we will be with them to help them get through it. I can't change the consequences, because your actions is going to come with some consequences. But what we need to do as parents is prepare these children for the results that's going to come. The young man that I did lose was a very handsome young man. I've never had any disrespectful format come from him. Great upbringing. And once again, when they're grown, they make their own decisions. And sometimes their decisions could be right and just be in the wrong place at the wrong time. And the results of it leads in them being called to their eternal home. And I have no words to provide to that parent, no more than I would say is to ask my Father, our Father, to provide peace to her and comfort that surpasses all understanding. Where we may want to see her take that bereavement and know that he's in a better place. Know that whatever worry she had for her child, it's not of a worry no more. He's in the arms of a loving God. Then you come over to the one that survived a shooting. In his mind, he's young, and he's thinking, I got to protect myself. I'm under attack. The enemy is under attack at me. And when he's thinking that, the first thing he feels comfort and closure in is what? A weapon. It's not the right way, but we got to remember, we're dealing with children. Their minds are not fully developed. They're steady changing it. They're like an egg that's semi-done in a frying pan. It's not all the way done, because they're still learning. And they have spontaneous thinking. You know, YouTube family, I thank God for those circumstances. It allows me the courage to know that change can happen. Sometimes it takes something devastating and a major occurrence to happen before a change wants to come. I ask you all to continue. If it's not your children, your nieces and nephews, cousins, neighbor kids, children of abroad, let's keep them lifted up in prayer. If we don't know their names, let's just call out and ask Father to protect these angels. Protect them as they go to and from, while they're in the care and guardianship of their parents, and while they're not in the care and guardianship of their parents. Because He's everywhere. He can be where we can't be. His coverage can reach beyond one's mind can fathom. I thank you all for taking the time out to listen today. And my hopes and prayers is that this dialogue will reach someone across the world that has or is aware or knows someone that's experiencing the hurt as a result of gun violence. And don't be afraid to leave me comments with methods that it may not be in my city, but it may be in your city that you have seen success happen with the youth. You've seen ideas that someone else created that you say, hey, the statistics has dropped based on this program here. We won't be able to get them all, but with prayer, fasting, and a little bit of parent support, we can do a lot. We can change a whole lot. Because they'll know that we stand behind them stronger than them peers and the enemy. Remember to like, comment, and subscribe to Experience for a Purpose.